Hey guys, it's Tyrik Wynn. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We are sitting down in a Zoom interview with the one and only Speech. I mean, this man is big time. This man is doing amazing things. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. It's so great to have you. This is an amazing experience, and we actually coming up on Black History Month, which is
Facts.
fantastic. So I was like, I mean, it seems appropriate to have you
Yeah, man,
on the
thank you.
program. So yeah, I
Thank you.
appreciate you joining me.
I
So
appreciate you having me.
of course. Yeah. So tell me a little bit. I mean, you're doing some extraordinary things. You've been working on some things, and you also got some stuff coming up, and we're gonna have a chance to hit on all that. But what I gotta hit on is I gotta hit on these Grammys, man. I mean, five-time nominations, Grammy win. I'm two-time Grammy winner. I mean, how do you get it done?
Well, yeah, that was in the 90s. That was off of our debut album, 3 years, 5 months, 2 days in the life of Arrested Development's album. And it was a highlight moment in my life. I'll never forget it. I always loved the Grammys when I was a kid. And so being able to be even at the Grammys, much less be nominated, and then, of course, win, and especially win for Best New Artist. So all of that was just overwhelming and amazing. Very, very grateful, man, for it. And as far as how I did it, obviously you never know these things would happen, but you do want to strive to make great music. You want to inspire people with the music and the art that you do. And thank God that it led to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then when it comes to getting Grammy nominations, becoming a Grammy winner, you have to make good music. I mean, you have to know what you're doing. So what I want to know is like what does it take to make good music that people like? Like what does it take? What's the process like?
Well, it's a great question. It's obviously subjective. A lot of people like different things. For me, I gotta like it, and I have to feel that it's competitive with the things that I've always admired. So, Black people in particular, we come from such a fantastic legacy of music in particular and other things. So that's a tough hill to climb, but it's also a blessed hill to climb because there's so much to tap into for inspiration. And so, for me, I always wanted to make music that at least was comparable. It was at least it deserved to be there. These greats that we already have in our music history. So, yeah.
Wow, man, good stuff, man. And congrats on everything you got going on. Like I said, I mean, it's just an amazing opportunity to be able to sit down and talk with you. So, Arrested Development, amazing music group. You guys have done some extraordinary things. Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys met, how you guys came together?
Yeah, back in 1987, I came to Atlanta from Milwaukee to the Art Institute of Atlanta. It's a music school. I was taking a music program, and I immediately hung up a flyer for a DJ because I was an MC, but I had previously been a DJ. So I knew I needed a DJ now that I was MCing. When I was a DJ, my name was Peach, Peech, and DJ Peach. And then when I started rhyming, I put an S in front of it and it became Speech. It made sense to me. And a guy named Headliner was looking at the flyer on the wall, and I started talking to him. We chopped it up. We had a fantastic conversation and became best friends. He became the DJ with the group. And then we started having these jam sessions and shows where I would invite people on stage from African dancers, painters, poets, and so that became sort of like this collective of creative energy that was all just different types of expression, all very proud to be Black. And so that became Arrested Development over time.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a pretty cool story because I've actually been to the Art Institute of Atlanta,
Oh,
and so
wow.
yeah, so that's yeah, I remember going there one time, but that's kind of crazy how like a simple flyer turned into something so huge, so it
Yeah,
really just
it's
goes
very
to show
true.
you, yeah, that it really just goes to show you that in life, the little things can turn
Yeah.
into something big.
Yeah, exactly. Move through your life with intention.
That's definitely a good message right there. So with Arrested Development, y'all actually have a new album out. You guys just recently came out with this. Talk to us a little bit about this new album.
It's called For the F in Love. and it's Arrested Development's ode to hip hop. So we've been around for 30 years. Our debut album came out 30 years ago, but we rarely collaborated with some of the greats of hip hop. And we wanted to do this on this album. We were basically trying to make a classic hip hop record with some of the best in the business. Big Daddy Kane, the Sugar Hill Gang, who actually got me into hip hop in the first place, Master Ace, Fat Man Scoop, Moni Love, so many others. You know, it's just a plethora of dope hip hop artists over incredible beats. I worked with an artist in Europe named Kafiga, who basically me and him co-executive produced this album, where we were picking and handpicking the songs that would be on this album and just making sure that it was a boom bap classic. Sonically, it feels like the 90s, but it's updated, it's new, it feels fresh, but it at the same time has that sonic feeling of things back in the early 90s and late 80s.
Okay, sounds good. Good deal. With every song, there's always like a message behind it, a central theme. Any like particular messages within those songs that are in the album?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of different things that we speak about on this record. One of them is how Black women get treated as bitches, hoes. You know, so much within the music space and entertainment space degrades Black women. And there's a song called America's Never Had Your Back that flips that. It talks about how the Black woman is a queen, how she should be representative of dignity and beauty and grace. And so that's a record that I'm super proud of. It was one of our singles. The song Vibe is really just talking about our group's journey on making great music with great vibes that's always been African centered. And it features Big Daddy Kane, Cleveland P. Jones, who's an amazing vocalist, and Tasha LaRae, who's part of Arrested Development, but also does her own solo house music. Fantastic song, produced by Kafiga. And that's just two songs of many that this album sort of touches upon the issues.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Because I think with something like that, it's something that needs to be heard, and it's something like you're sending a message out to you're sending a message out to the community and stuff, and letting people know what's going on. This isn't right. This is how it should be. So it's yeah, it's really good, especially and really appropriate. Like I said, we're coming up on Black History Month. Black History is in February. Tell me what stuff do you have coming up for Black History Month? I know I did. Your publicist actually sent me. You have something with Alzheimer's Music Fest.
Yeah, so on February 4th, we're having a concert. Arrested Development is the main act for benefiting Alzheimer's and dementia. So Alzheimer's and dementia is one of those situations where most people wouldn't automatically connect that with Black people. But actually, the stats show that older Black people are twice as likely to get dementia, which is a loss of memory, which can also even lead to death. Black families are suffering through this in large proportions, but it's just not talked about in our community. So this concert is a fundraiser / fun event. We've done it 2 years in a row. This will be our second year, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna sell out. People should come. If you're looking for a great opportunity to hear incredible music, have a great date night with your loved one, and just get out, even bring your kids for that matter, and at the same time support a cause without you ever having to reach in your pocket directly to do it, this is that concert. And that happens on Black History Month, February 4th, coming up pretty soon, actually. And we're also going to be going on a cruise coming up soon. We're going to be touring throughout the Caribbean on a cruise and performing. So we're excited about this year. It's so far turning out to be a great year. And Black History Month is always a time for us to further reflect. For me, it's not a unique month in the sense of my thinking about our history, thinking about what does our history mean for my future, for my intentions. But I'm glad that a lot of other people are focused on that month. And so I use it as an example or as a time to sort of showcase what we do.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's pretty good because with the with the concert coming up, not only do you get a chance to go out, have a good time, enjoy yourself, you also get a chance to give back to a good cause. So I mean that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
with the cruise coming up, that's pretty exciting. That's something that yeah, that's something pretty cool. So when is any
Yeah,
set
it
date on
is.
when the cruise is supposed to set sail?
I think it's March. I want to say it's March like 8th, but I'm not exactly sure of the date. It's not Black History Month, but
Mhm.
it's right after that. And yeah, I think it's March 8th for about a week. And we've done numerous tours in the past. They're always exciting. It's a captive audience, quite literally, where people are all in the boat, the ship together, and we rock together. It's a family affair. So the people that end up coming on these cruises, and by the way, the cruise is called the 311 cruise, and it's sponsored by a rock group called 311, and it's going to be absolutely stellar. It's Arrested Development, 311, and a ton of other dope groups on this cruise.
Wow, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. So yeah, people definitely need to make sure they get their tickets for that. And then also back to the other point you were saying, of course, Black History Month is in February, but we don't have to celebrate our history just in February. We can
Facts.
celebrate whenever we want to.
Facts.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a good message that you're sending out to the people because I feel like people just focus on February, but celebrate whenever. So
Without a question. And you know, yeah, I mean, you said it all. That's it doesn't.
Thank you. So, when it so what I want to know is in your want to go back a little bit to your early life. Like as a child, did you know that you were going to be doing this or did you have other aspirations?
When I was a child, I was very influenced by Michael Jackson and the Jackson Five, and that was when I was about 5, 6 years old. I knew at that point that I wanted to have something to do with music, and my dad owned a nightclub, and it was a real successful nightclub in my hometown of Milwaukee. At that nightclub, I saw the DJs and the power of the DJ. I started learning from them how to DJ at age 13. I started DJing at age 13. That solidified my love for the arts and for music. And at first, I DJ'd and I started producing music for numerous groups, releasing that music, getting some success with that. Then, of course, hanging that flyer up in Art Institute for Atlanta and what ended up being Arrested Development.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. You say man, MJ is my boy. That
Yeah,
Michael Jackson is my favorite artist. I remember growing up listening to him since I was like 8, 9.
yeah, yeah, I believe
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so many billions of people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. So let me ask you this. So do you have any inspirations in the industry, like people that inspired you or people that like mentors that you had?
Yes and no. I have tons of people that inspire me, people that come before me that made music that moved me deeply, from Parliament Funkadelic to Stevie Wonder, my favorite Prince. Um, Michael Jackson, as I already said, De La Soul, Jungle Brothers, Tribe Called Quest, Public Enemy. So there's so many, more than I can mention. As far as literal mentors, I would say that it's a brother named Albert Burroughs. When I first came to Atlanta, was a huge mentor for me. Older gentleman that ran a studio that we recorded at. There was another mentor named Larry K. Miles, who owned a record store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that I used to go to that record store and just pick his brain and get wisdom about the music industry. He was a huge, uh, so it's my parents' biggest mentors to me. They've always given me great advice and supported me, and just sort of tried to lead me in the right directions, which is amazing. So yeah, a lot of mentors in that sense.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, those are some pretty big name people. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You got a chance to just be inspired by those amazing individuals. That's good stuff, man. So just to kind of close it out, but what I do want to ask you is do you have any advice? Those who are, there are a lot of up and coming artists out there who want to know what it takes to make it to the next level, want to know what it takes to be a hit and be a sensation. Any advice for them?
Be yourself. The world is filled with 8 billion people. Each and every one of us have this sacred serial number planted inside of us. If we tap into that, the world will definitely be interested in what you're doing because it's unique. It's unique to you, and only you could bring it. So I would encourage everybody to do that. That's an artist. The other thing I would say is check out my documentaries. I got two that's out. One's on YouTube. It's called The Nigga Factory. It's a mini documentary, and it's just talking about the 400-year campaign that is meant to destroy our image as Black people. So make sure you don't fall into that trap. It's called The Nigga Factory. Another one's called 16 Bars. It's talking about the many traps that we could fall into that keep us from our ultimate destiny, where I spend 10 days in jail to work with inmates in that jail. It's a very, very powerful documentary. Both of them are on YouTube. 16 Bars is one, and The Nigga Factory is the other.
Wow. So of course, okay. Well, before we, I gotta ask you about that. Like, what was that experience being in there with the inmates and stuff like that? What was that like?
Initially, it was a little scary because you're going behind these huge metal steel gates and cement walls, and your freedom, even though I knew I could get let out at any time, those doors still slam, those walls are still thick, and the halls start echoing and the sounds start to disappear that you're used to in your regular life. It still feels like you are fully confined. And living in a cell is a very psychologically, you know, deep thing. It takes away a lot of your normal senses of freedom and exploration and freedom of thought. It takes those things away. It's a very scary thing. But I will say, meeting the inmates let me know that there's some amazing human beings that are locked behind bars. Some of them unjustifiably behind bars, and many others unjustifiably are behind there with long sentences that they did not deserve for the crime that they committed. So I met a lot of amazing people, and the movie really fleshes that out better than I could.
Wow. Wow. That sounds like yeah, that's definitely sounds like a deep experience that that's pretty heavy. Wow. So, and you said this is out on, you said Netflix, correct?
It's on, well, it was on Amazon, well, yeah, Amazon for quite a while. Now it's on YouTube, and it's called 16 the film. You can type in 16 Bars the film, and then type in Nigga Factory, Nigga Factory, and that's you'll pull it up on YouTube.
Okay, sounds good. Well, yeah, Speech, thank you so much for joining me, Dan.
Thank you,
This
man.
has been awesome. And best of luck to you and of course the rest of Arrested Development. I mean, you guys are doing some great stuff. So we appreciate you guys. And I mean, just thanks for doing great things and doing great music, man. I
I
can
appreciate the support.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
none of what we do makes any real impact if people like yourself don't let people know about it. So I really appreciate it. Y'all stay strong. You have a great show, and I hope it continues on as powerfully as it is
Oh
now,
yeah.
or even better.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And of course, before I let you go, I gotta let you know that my favorite song, Everyday People. I mean, that is a classic.
Word up. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that is my joint, man. I love it. So, well, appreciate you so much
Matt,
for joining
appreciate it.
me, and have a good one.